Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabanzo, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We'll cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. And we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a bombshell story in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, today's a serious one. A very, very serious one. As you guys know, this story that broke from about FS1 and the things that have been taking place there have really sent shockwaves throughout the sports world and the entertainment world at large. A lot of people are talking about it, not just sports channels. And I'm one of the people that's fortunate enough to not know, but you know, on a professional level, know a few of these people, right? Or at least be connected to them or be aware of them in one shape or another. So as you guys know, Marcellus Wiley is a friend to the channel, really cool dude. As he says, that dude, he's a really cool dude, really genuine guy. When we first met him on video call, I'm like, man, this dude is really cool. Like, he's a really cool dude. Very nice person, very classy, just a very nice guy. If you look at almost all his pictures, he's always smiling. He seems like a very nice person, family man, and all of that. So when the story broke, I chatted him a little bit about it, but we did a live. All right. We did a live. And one of the people that was in the live that day was Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock was in the live and he left some comments, but you could tell that he was reacting to what he heard. But it was like, okay, I'm going to really get into this thing here and really talk about it. Right. I'm going to really talk about it. And he's been covering this story in the way Jason Whitlock does, right? He's going to say things in a way that's going to ruffle some people's feathers. You heard the stuff he said about Joy Taylor, but that's his way of making content. That's his. That's kind of his style, right? In your face, raw, unadulterated, candor, and that's how he speaks. So that's his thing. So the next day after he produced his show. No. The next day, I was waiting for him to release his show to react to this news, and he had a show called, and I was watching it. It was a live. It was 2 hours long. It's called Bone, Joy, and Harmony, Fox Sports Scandal. So I was listening to this show, and about an hour into the show, he was saying something, okay, that was pertaining to him and Marcellus Wiley. Why? Because they used to have a show together, I believe, called Speak for Yourself. Many viral segments. There was a segment with him and Chris Broussard going at it over that time that LeBron James's home was vandalized. They used to have Chris Broussard on the show. I think Jim Jackson was on the show. One time Shannon Sharpe made an appearance on the show. Some other people that I can't think of right now. Colin Cowherd made appearances on. So a very, very entertaining panel. Himself, Marcel, just a very, very, very entertaining show where you knew that everyone had a different opinion. I really enjoyed the show, like keeping it funky with you guys. So Jason Whitlock is now talking about his time, get this, at FS1 with Marcellus Wiley when they were doing that show. He was talking about how ratings were going up and all of that. And then once the story came out, it started to connect the dots for him for what kind of led to him and Marcellus Wiley's departure. So I said, okay, I'm going to do a show about that, but I didn't really get a chance to do it yesterday. Then I jump online this morning to go to Awful Announcing to see an article with the headline saying Marcellus Wiley considering legal action following Bombshell Fox Sports lawsuit. Then I click on this show, this audio, and I see that Jason Whitlock had Marcellus on the show. And they're talking about something that was connected to the original audio of what Jason Whitlock was talking about the day after this news broke. And I was like, whoa, this thing is getting for real here, because this situation really affected both of these gentlemen. So what we want to do is I want to play what Jason Whitlock said originally to give this story a backdrop, and then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Jason Whitlock said there originally.
I'm reading this 42-page document, and it talks about how in February of 2020, or approximately February of 2020, so I'm thinking February or March, in this lawsuit, Nusheen claims that she met Joy Taylor out for lunch or dinner, and Joy Taylor was there with Emmanuel Acho. And so this is in February of 2020 or March of 2020. And it rang a bell with me, and this is what I got to be transparent about. It rang a bell with me. I was like, oh, look at this. Joy Taylor's meeting with Emmanuel Acho in February or March of 2020. And later on it says that Nushin ran into Emmanuel Acho inside the Fox building, and come to find out he's working there. And she says something to Joy Taylor, and Joy Taylor says that, hey, I want Emmanuel Acho to insist that I'm on Speak for Yourself. And so this is later in 2020. This has to be, because I would think this has to be right around September of 2020, because I think that's when Emmanuel Acho started working with Marcellus Wiley. And so what that gives you a clue to is like the plans for Emmanuel Acho and Joy Taylor to be doing Speak for Yourself, that started in February or March of 2020. Guess who the host was of Speak for Yourself in February and March of 2020? Me. And this lines up and coincides with, I was given a take it or leave it offer, let's say in April of 2020. And Speak for Yourself with me and Marcellus was the only show on that network that was growing exponentially at that point. We were a rocket ship, growing. And I was looking forward to redoing my contract and getting compensated at a rate that was consistent with the growth of the show. Fox Sports said, no, we will not offer you a pay raise. We'll offer you the same thing. And I had made it clear that would be problematic and I would probably exit. And so they had already hatched plans. They were already interviewing my replacement, Emmanuel Acho, in February or March. And this is something that I sense because, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a man of my word and I'll stick to my guns. And so when they said, hey, this is a take it or leave it offer, I indicated, well, I'll just leave it. And so they started hatching plans in February or March to replace me. I say all that to say, hear me out. I'm not saying this with animus or jealousy. Oh, Emmanuel Acho replaced you, and that's why Whitlock is saying this, and Joy Taylor. I'm telling you this is how far in advance that they think, because Joy Taylor did not join Speak for Yourself until 2022. So there was another person who they had already put into motion that they were going to move on from. And they had started doing this in February or March of 2020, and that would be Marcellus Wiley. Myself and Marcellus Wiley were doing Speak for Yourself at record ratings growth. Nothing else was growing. They put all their promotion into Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, into Colin Cowherd, but we were outpacing them in growth. And actually, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp had already, at that point, started to decline. But they had said, we're moving on from Whitlock and Marcellus. Now, here's a take it or leave it deal for Whitlock. If he takes it, we'll continue on. But if he doesn't, we're moving on. And they started hatching those plans. And Joy Taylor, because allegedly she's sleeping with Charlie Dixon, she has all of this insight into what their plans are and who's dead man walking and who isn't dead man walking. And this, again, she's got her hooks into Charlie Dixon. And I'm telling you guys, I like and respect Charlie Dixon. You've seen or heard me defend him on this show. But I'm not naive in terms of how this game is played. And I'm not naive on what the consequences are for someone like me who says, hey, I got a set of values and boundaries that I'm going to stick to. I'm not entering into anyone's at-work sexual Olympics. Therefore, I'm not going to be easy to control. I'm not going to be easy to compromise. And the people that they're more comfortable getting in bed with are more easy to compromise and control. You've heard me allude to, Shannon Sharpe's not anywhere in this lawsuit. But trust me, they got an HR file on Shannon Sharpe that would make your head spin.
So you heard what he said originally. Fantastic. Now, I want to play what he said during his sit down with Marcellus Wiley on his show, because it ties in directly to what he said earlier before even having Marcellus on the show. So I want to play that for you now, and then want to come back and continue on. Take a listen to Jason Whitlock here in Marcellus Wiley.
I'm going to ask the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I and I'm not saying this to stir crap. I'm not saying this to bait you into this. I'm a journalist, and this is what I do in my nature. As it relates to you, I could see someone saying, hey, Marcellus, this is actionable on your part, that you were harmed here. I don't think I could say that, because what the checkmate piece that Fox Sports would put in front of me is like, hey, Jason, we offered you a 2-year deal at the same rate of pay, and you said no. And we offered you this deal, and they further argue to me is like, hey, this is in the middle of the pandemic when everything was up in the air, and so we weren't in a position to perhaps offer you the money that the success of the show says you should have. And so they got an airtight argument that, hey, Whitlock, we made you an offer based on the way you operate. We knew we were making you an offer that you would refuse, but we made you a fair offer, and you could have stayed, and you could have been still making quite a bit of money, and blah, blah, blah. As it relates to you, I don't know if they could make that argument that you were treated fairly and didn't have your opportunity undermined.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. From my position, because it's 24 hours since I truly digested this, and people have reached out. Let me just be real about that. People are coming at me from a lot of different directions, including legally saying, Marcellus, take another look at what you went through. And I'm trying to take that look right now because I know of the influences that were around me. I know what they offered me. And when I say offer, I'm being loose with this, because as you look back on it, you start to realize the first thing they said to me is, we're not doing that show again, and we're not doing it with you. So now we want to do something with you. What can that be? But that right there in itself became a tornado of nothing. Like, we just went around in a bunch of circles to the point where I said, you know what, it's time for me to bet on myself, because it feels like I'm getting the runaround here. Yeah, you know, once I know, I'm gonna let you know. I'm not the type to hide behind it. But yeah, lawyers are reaching out to me because when they saw me get surprised by the allegations, especially the one about Charlie Dixon, they said that is actionable. And now I'm trying to make sure that everything that I went through and everything that I read in that article is actually true. Because the last thing I want to do, look, I've been 2 years removed from it. I didn't try to burn down Emmanuel Acho knowing that he was plotting. Joy Taylor, I still see her all the time. I wasn't trying to burn her down, even though I knew she was plotting. To me, that's just like going to coach after the game, say, hey, you know, if you give me the ball, I get more yards. But when you bring it from another perspective, that coach is actually doing something on the side, and that's influencing his decision more than just the production, just the numbers, that's a different conversation.
So you heard what Marcellus Wiley had to say. Folks, this is serious. The reason it is serious is, as I told you guys yesterday, to go watch Marcellus Wiley's show when he first reacted to this story. He did about a 29-minute show, has close to 1 million views. I implore you guys to go and watch that. Do you know why? because it was like two things were happening. Marcellus was breaking down the story, but he was also reliving the past while he was breaking down the story and connecting the dots for himself. It was kind of like this out-of-body experience. He was like analyzing the story and himself. And as you can see him going through it, he was like, man, the dots are really starting to connect for me here in ways that they didn't at the time, and it's making a lot of things make sense. Now, why is this important? Because Jason Whitlock is saying that their show was gaining a lot of steam and the ratings were going out the roof. So he said to himself, well, if the show's doing so well with Marcellus and I as the staples of the show, the ratings are going through the roof, we're looking like we're about to become the biggest show on the network, then I deserve to be compensated fairly for all of the work that I'm putting forward, including Marcellus. But it was a total opposite that happened. Not only did he not get the raise that he was looking for, justifiably, he got lowballed by getting the same number. And he's like, this doesn't make sense. But then this lawsuit comes out, and then you hear the pieces that were moved after they left, and he's like, well, wait a minute here. Is there some foul play that went on while we were there? Because we couldn't understand why we were getting the offer that we did, given the success of the show. But after this story broke, and you're hearing what was really going on in the inner workings at FS1 and Fox Sports, it now raises alarm bells. And Marcellus is now saying, wait a minute. I need to go back and go through my mental Rolodex and really think about this properly. Because I may have been dealt with unfairly. And to have Marcellus Wiley go through this in terms of entertain this thought process, it tells you that it's something serious. I've never met Marcellus Wiley in person, but from the time I've met him, this seems like a very nice person. And he seems like somebody that doesn't really hold on to grudges. So for him to be in a position where he's saying to himself, wait, hold on a second. Because he always says, I protect the guilty or something. That's one of his phrases. He's now saying to himself, well, these people I'm protecting, there may be some foul play here. And if he was treated unfairly, if Jason Whitlock was treated unfairly, then they should be made whole. 100%. 100%. I support that. Because they seem to be taken aback by this story. And even them that worked there weren't even aware of all of this. And that is telling. That is very, very telling. So look, these are my thoughts on this. I think this story is just kicking off. I really, really do. I think it is just kicking off. And I think you guys need to stay tuned for this. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this new recent development, and where do you think all of this is going? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.